Leave me alone. It's like swatting flies. Right. Next time you go recruit a kid, wear torn up jeans, a t-shirt, don't shave, and just look at the 3 kids we asked you to go look at. That's what veteran coaches will do. That's what veteran coaches will do, unless they're on national TV, because then everybody knows who they are anyway. Okay? We're going there to scout kids we already know about. We're not going there to find athletes. Now, does it mean we won't find you? Sure. If you're a pitcher and I'm going to scout a home run hitter and you strike him out 3 times, I think I'm going to notice you. What are the chances of that happening? Very slim. So you've got to, again, have a game plan to help yourself. Mistake number 4. You believe that coaches will recruit from the newspapers. What's the local newspaper other than the LA Times here? The Downey Ledger? Oh, I'm sorry. The Patriot. The Downey Patriot. I got a secret for you. When I was coaching in college, I never subscribed to it. And there's 50,000 papers like that around the country. Never subscribe to it. Don't send college coaches articles until they're already recruiting you. They will not recruit from articles. They will recruit from what you have as a profile and what they see on highlight tapes. That's where it will start. So just be aware of that. It can become valuable afterwards. Would you like to know how you're behind, or if you're behind in the recruiting process? Would anybody like to know that? Grade 9, rookies. If you have below a 3.0, you're behind in the process. Sophomores. If you are not a varsity team member, I'm not talking about being a starter, I'm not even talking about getting minutes. If you're not a varsity team member, you're behind in the recruiting process. Now, you can ask your AD, and I'm sure he'll confirm this, but we don't put freshmen and sophomores on varsity teams unless we expect them to be there as seniors. Is that true, Coach? Anybody want to know why that is? Because we don't want to deal with the parents if we cut them. That's the truth. Because they'll scream bloody murder. So if a kid's on track, we're going to put him on a varsity team. That's just the reality. If you're a junior and you have not gotten to your club coach or your high school coach phone calls from a college coach, because they can't call you at Division I and Division II. If you've not gotten calls to your high school coach or your club coach from college coaches, you're behind in the process. Nobody knows you're out there. If you're a senior and you're not getting calls from a college, as in plural, calls as in plural, from a particular college or colleges, you are behind in the process. Early signing date is in about 3 weeks. That's early signing date. Winter signing date, first Wednesday in February. The big national letter of intent is in the spring, right, Coach? It's in the spring. And that's the dog and pony show for all the Division I schools. That's the big dog and pony show. Did you know that only 4.5% of athletes that play in college sign a national letter of intent? 1 in 20 sign a national letter of intent. Because it's not needed, but it's a nice thing to be honored. So you want to be aware of that. Let's talk about 5 facts that you want to pay attention to. Fact number 1 is a contact is not a contract. Talking to a young man actually here in Southern California, and I'm not going to say his name, he's an all-league football player. His dad is out in left field right now. He has gotten a phone call one time from UNLV, from Butler University, and from New Mexico. That's pretty exciting, right? The calls were last spring. Between April 15th and May 31st, Division I football coaches can call you one time. They got a call. As of September 1, a college coach can call you once a week, every week. This player has not gotten a phone call since September 1. Do you think he's still on their recruiting list? No, not there. Not on the list. So multiple calls means they're courting you, and they have to be courting you, and you have to be courting them. Fact number 2, you don't get to pick the college of your choice. The college gets to pick you. There's only 2,200 colleges out there with athletic programs. There's 15.2 million kids. We get to pick who we want. Does it mean we wouldn't like you? No, I think we would like almost all the student athletes in here, truthfully, if you're at the right level of competition. I think one of the nicest schools in the country is just within 30 miles of here, Laverne University. We got a football player from Hawaii, got offered 80% funding by Laverne University. His mom calls on the phone and says, Coach Scott, I cannot get Kevin to call the coach back at this school. I said, why not? He doesn't want to play for a school named Laverne. He's offering him $130,000. $130,000. I know the Hawaii people are nuts, aren't they? Well, let's talk about Southern California kids. Because I got a volleyball player that got 100% offered at Minot State. No other offers on the table. Minot State University in North Dakota. Remember, volleyball's inside, right? You know what her first question was? How cold is it? They're putting $120,000 on the table and you're worried about the temperature. At least take a look at the school. So you don't get to pick, they're going to get to pick you. Now, if you can get one to pick you, that's a plus, because if there's a college coach that likes you, shouldn't there be other college coaches at that level that would like you also, if they know you're out there? Ah, now we're on to something, aren't we? So that can be helpful. Number 3, you need to go where you're wanted and not where you want to go. I grew up in Boston and I was All-State 2 years in a row. And yes, I am a Celtics fan, I'm sorry. But I grew up there. Okay? I got recruited by 50 colleges. I had 11 that put money on the table. How many were really serious about me? 11. They put money on the table. Okay, if you go on a date and the guy says, pay for yourself, I don't think they're serious about you. It's pretty simple. So I had 11 schools. I made a huge mistake. I was a legitimate NCAA Division II athlete coming out of high school. You know how come I know that when I look back? Because they're the ones that offered me the money. Pretty simple, right? I was so determined to go D1, I went to 4 colleges in 4 years and really could have had a much better experience. But nobody knew what I'm teaching you right now. Go where you're wanted. Don't go where you want to go. And hopefully, if you make a good pick, it'll be a wonderful place with a great environment that is offering you lots of money and you get to play. You get to play because there's a lot of equal to athletes in the country. And being equal to is not better than. Equal to means you're just as good. Better than means you got there first. Because only so many kids that I'm going to pick. So you need to understand that. Fact number 3, if they don't fund, then you're done. Very simple. If they don't fund, then you are done. If a college is not willing to put 25%, 50%, 75% or more on the table for you, they're not serious about you. If they're not putting something on the table, they're not serious. Now, you've got a school down here, Pitzer. Anybody ever hear of Pitzer? No? One of the top 10 academic colleges in the country, even better than a lot of Ivy Leagues. Coach, you've heard of Pitzer. They don't offer anybody a penny. I mean, nothing. You're not going to get a penny out of them, and unless you're economically disadvantaged, you're not going to get anything out of Harvard either. In a lot of Ivy League schools. Harvard turns down 15,000 4.0 students a year. 15,000. So you're not going to get money out of them because they don't need to give anybody any money. But there's very few schools that are like that. Last one. If you don't perform, you're out of the dorm. Unwritten rule for college coaches. Talked about the kid at University of Oregon that's at a JC right now. And now he's up against it because he's at a JC, but nobody's recruiting him right now. You know why that is? Because I know everybody says, I'll just go to the local junior college, right? Mm-hmm. If you were a college coach, would you rather have a kid for 4 years or for 2? 4. I don't even look at JC athletes unless I can't find what I'm looking for out of high school. I'd rather have a kid in my program for 4 years. Can you get recruited out of a JC? Absolutely, I did. I was recruited out of a JC, but it's a lot harder. And you got to be a lot better. And you definitely better pull your grades if you're going to go to a JC. So that's of significance. Now, my wife says that I have to tell you something that's good news too. Can I do that? Because you're all going, holy cow, we're in so much trouble. Here's the good news. Over 2,200 colleges out there. Do you think there might be a place to play? If you get better at your academics and you let them know you're out there, there are lots of places to play. 12% of the colleges never even fill their rosters every year. There are opportunities out there. But you have to make an effort in this like you would anything else. Yes, ma'am? Did you have a question?
Where can we find out about those colleges?
That's a great question. There's 7 governing bodies, so we're going to talk about that a little at the end. The NCAA.org will list it, but they won't tell you what sport by governing body or what their academic standards are. So it's not an easy process. The question was, where can we find out? You've got junior colleges here in California under the COA. And they have almost 100 junior colleges, but it isn't an easy process. Is that yours? No. Whose tennis ball? I got 2 dogs at home, Rocky and Riley. They'll chase that thing for about an hour straight. Are you a tennis player?
No, I'm in 7th grade.
You're in 7th grade? You want to live to be in 8th grade? Put that thing in your pocket, would you? Thank you. So it is possible that you can do this. Now, let me give you some tips. These are 4 pet peeves of college coaches. Please don't do these. Number 1, what we hear more often than not is that my kid is young for her age. Well, she's a senior in high school and she's 16. I don't care. She's a senior. I got to play her next year. Doesn't matter. So don't tell the coach that. Nobody cares. Number 2 is, and this is my favorite as a basketball coach, you get all these parents calling and they say, my kid's only 6'2½", but he plays center because he's the tallest kid on his team. But the doctor says his growth plates are wide open. Well, he's 19 years old, Dad. When's he going to get to be 6'9"? Because my centers are 6'9", and I got to recruit him now. I don't care about his growth plates. Don't tell a college coach about growth plates. Number 3, it's the coach's fault. It's not the coach's fault. That's the worst thing you can say to a college coach, because right away a red flag is going right up in the air. We have a bad coach. We have a bad athletic director. We have a bad athletic program. You know what? That's a red flag if I hear that from anybody. So tell me what you can do. Don't tell me that it's someone else's fault. And that really raises a question. So what I want to do is all the student athletes, let's find out where we're at in this process with all the kids right here tonight, okay? Anybody that's serious about playing in college, I want you to stand up right now. Now, I was doing a seminar in Dallas last week and I said this question. And you know, football's huge in Texas, right? Texans think everything's better down there. They don't know what they're talking about. I had 5 dads stand up. I said, no, I meant high school students. Dads, moms, sit down. All right, let's find out where you're at in the recruiting process. Whether you're a freshman, a rookie, or you're a senior. If you have not received a camp brochure, a recruiting questionnaire from a college coach, sit down. Okay. If you have not gotten a personal letter, this is a personal letter, handwritten note at the bottom. Or a personal email. A personal email doesn't mean it has your name on it. Personal email means that they've said, I have seen you play, or we are considering you for an athletic scholarship. If you have not gotten those, sit down. Number 3, if you have not gotten an unofficial offer to come for a visit, or an official offer to come for a visit to a college campus, or a verbal offer for an athletic scholarship, sit down. Last thing, if you have not gotten, you gotten a verbal offer? Very good. Have you gotten a verbal offer? Excellent. Have you got more than one? 1. How many have you gotten? 3. Multiply it to 6 or 10, you're going to be in great shape. Multiply it to 4 or 5, you'll be in great shape. Okay? Now, if you have not gotten an official visit offered you, are you seniors? Juniors. Okay, so you're right on track. You two are right on track. But you've only got one school, so I'm saying this to help you. Go ask a college coach how many times they make verbal offers and then they pull them. So you need to have multiple options on that table. Does that make sense to you? So here's a great way to do it. Look at the college's game schedule that is offering you, and you got 3 schools. Look at their game schedule and look at the colleges they're playing against. See if there's any of those schools you could have possible interest in and call the coaches. Hey, they're gonna cheat on you. You got to cheat on them a little bit too. Okay? Get some other offers. That makes you much more valuable. It moves you up their list. Does that make sense? Give these 2 young ladies a hand. Go Vikings, right? My mom's from Norway, so I love the Vikings. She grew up there. Whose responsibility is it to help you with recruiting? Yourselves. It's not the athletic directors. I promise he has a ton to do. It's not the high school coaches. I told you, there's nothing in their contract that says they're supposed to help you. It's not the guidance counselor. Pam Morris, it's in the back here, is one of your counselors. I asked her when I came in today, how many students are you dealing with on an annual basis? She says over 500. She's responsible to make sure that 500 plus students have to graduate from high school. Her contract doesn't say anything about helping with recruiting. It's not her job. It's not the AD's job. It's not the coach's job. You want to know whose job it is? I want you to go home or go to Home Depot and get a much bigger mirror and start looking in it, because it's your future and you got to take care of it. And you don't have to kill yourself, but you got to start putting in an hour a week if you're an underclassman, or maybe a half hour a day if you're a senior. You got to start paying attention to this. It becomes very important. I want to talk about Trevor Braverman. I love Trevor Braverman. He's a student athlete that we work with. He's from Illinois. Trevor Braverman is 5'10". He's really 5'9", but he says he's 5'10". He's 5'10", weighs about 170 pounds. Not a super athlete. He runs about a 4.68 40-yard dash, which is decent. It's not Division I. Just really simple. If you're a D1 defensive back or D1 running back or wide receiver, you're going to be between a 4.3 and a 4.5 something. Is that true, Coach? And 4.5 is getting slow nowadays, isn't it? It's getting slow now. But he's good. He's a legit NCAA Division III kid. Trevor, for his junior season begins in football in Illinois, has a conversation with the head football coach. Coach says, Trevor, you've done a great job. Looks like you're going to be playing this year. We think we're going to start you at running back and play you some at defensive back. Trevor's excited. Get 2 games into the year, and you know what? His parents, who actually are wonderful people, don't like the play calling. They don't like the play calling. Now, his parents are in the boosters, and his parents are in the concession stands helping out. And every time you come and get a hot dog, I'm asking you, what do you think of the coach? Well, coach lied to my son. Coach said he was going to start. Now Trevor's not starting. Coach isn't calling the right plays. You don't think this doesn't get back to the coaches? It gets back to the coaches. And so what happened is after 2 games, Trevor didn't start anymore. Was the coach punishing Trevor? No. You know what happened? Guess who heard this more often than anybody? Trevor. And guess what happened to his effort in practice? Spiraled, went downward. And guess what happened to his playing time? It went down. And then the volume from the parents went up. And then the coaching staff had a conversation and said, if we put Trevor back in, now, what is every parent in that school going to think they have to do to get playing time for their kid? Complain. That's a bad cycle, isn't it? Bad cycle. So we had a conversation with Trevor and his parents when we first started interacting with them. And for the first conversation, the first 45 minutes, you know what the parents did? Coach this, coach that, coach lied, coach doesn't know what he's doing, coach calling lousy plays. I mean, it went on for 45 minutes. We let them run out of gas. They finally said, Coach, you still there? My coach says, I'm still here. Are you ready to listen now so you can learn something about college coaches? Well, okay, then I need you to be quiet and listen to what I'm saying to you. You're killing your kid. You're killing him. Because no coach is going to recruit him if he doesn't get on the field, and he's not getting on the field unless he puts out a better effort. He's not going to put out a better effort when you're sabotaging the coach. And basketball parents are the worst. No, I'm telling you, you know, you're a football player, you got a helmet on, you can't hear everything going on. You can't hear your parents yelling all the time. You're a basketball player, and you're coming to the sidelines, and I know both my daughters play basketball. And it drives me crazy because, you know, home team, you sit near the bench, right? Coach calls a timeout, kids are running over. Julie, dribble through the press by yourself. Mary, shoot the three more. She can't shoot to save her life. And the coach is calling a timeout to tell them what to do. And my wife won't sit by me because I'll tell the other parents to shut up and let the coach coach. And I can get away with it because I'm 6'5" and I weigh 240 pounds. But it's aggravating. And sometimes do I get excited and do I get, oh, the ref made a bad, sure. But what I've learned is if I start down that cycle, that road, what do I keep doing? I get worse. I start to yell at the refs for everything. And you know what I started to realize? Is basketball players don't make every shot. They don't make every pass. They don't get every rebound. And you know what? Officials don't make every call. But they can sure concentrate a lot better if I leave them alone, even as a coach. And so let's talk about Trevor's situation, because this is what we explained to Trevor and his family. We drew a big circle on a sheet of paper, big circle. And in that circle we had him write the words, my situation. Now, what we explained to them is the only way your situation gets better is through positive words, positive actions, and positive thoughts. I'm left-handed, that's why I always go to the left on that. The only way your situation gets worse is negative words, negative actions, and negative thoughts. Now, you can rant and rave and scream and fuss all you want, but it will not make your situation better. Your situation will not change until you change your situation. I love, sitting down with a young man on the island of Kauai 3 months ago with his dad, Edgar. And Manny's a basketball player. He's a junior. His dad tells me, we went through a divorce. It was really hard on Manny, and I was kind of in my own place, and, I wasn't giving him the time I needed. And I made a commitment 7 months ago that I was going to get up at 5:30 and I was going to help him train. That's what he did. He said I was going to find half an hour a day. And he said it's totally changed not only his relationship with his son, it's changed his son's work habits. His skills have gotten better.